and welcome back to another edition of Big Knick Energy, the podcast with your host, Joe Yoke, the hostess with not the mostest as a Mets, Jets, and Knicks fan. One day, though, baby. We got Angelo, the man that makes it all happen. And right now, the one and the only Dominican and Finnish person I've ever met in my whole goddamn life, Kris Pursiainen. How you doing today, man? How's college treating you?
Man, we are here. What an introduction. I'm also the only Dominican and Finnish person I've met in my life. So
which one is which? Which one's your mom? Which
one's
your dad?
combo. My mom's Dominican, so that's the Lopez family, and then my Finnish family is my dad's side. It's been a busy day here at college, man. I had a class in person earlier.
How is college in the COVID world right now? How many classes do you have in person versus
it's
online?
Weird. So last semester I had 3 of my 5, at least somewhat in person. And this semester it's only one of my 5, but it's every class is in person. So
is that like a teacher choice or?
Yeah, it's based on what classes you sign up for, that whether the teacher is on campus or not. It's very interesting.
Is that one teacher you have to go every day from Texas?
Louisiana.
So close. That makes so much sense.
Louisiana. Great guy. Great professor.
Yeah. Does he have the drawl?
No. Actually, it's my theology professor. Great professor, and he has standard mask. I respect it.
Interesting. I would have really hoped he would sound like Louisiana Bayou, but what are you gonna do? Just so everyone knows, Kris is a freshman at Fordham University. I'm assuming, I might be wrong here, one of the youngest ever freelance writers for Sports Illustrated. Can you correct me on that?
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but I'd have to think so. I was on the SI Knicks team. Man, I missed that. That was a good time. Over the summer from March to August, and I did draft stuff for them, and yeah, that was definitely fun. Started when I was 17 and made it like couple months into being 18 before it shut down. That was a good time.
That is so dope, dude. What did you
Sports Illustrated is shut down completely, Kris?
No, the Knicks, just the Knicks branch, like the team specific branches. Gotcha. Is what they did.
You also were a former intern for MK Sports and Entertainment. Between working with like dudes that had to sign athletes and stuff, being agencies versus the Sports Illustrated freelance, what'd you like more?
Oh,
hard questions early.
that internship on Wall Street was sick. It was every Wednesday. Instead of going to senior year of high school, I went to Wall Street I took the bus and then the train from my house in Jersey, and made my way down, worked at the agency. I did some crazy stuff as part of that job. That was a cool job, but I love Sports Illustrated, man. Getting to do draft coverage, dip my toe in the scouting world, getting to start my own video series, which kind of inspired my halftime shows that I do now. Just getting to talk on camera about the Knicks is probably
Kris, did they have you traveling to
thing.
Scout for college, or
no?
Did you travel to scout for college?
2 weeks after I was hired at SI was when the entire world shut down. So it was
God.
It was like all remote.
Oh my God, COVID-19 ruining sports fandom for all of us. Jesus.
Yeah, it was an interesting go of it for sure. But thanks for having me on the show, guys.
No problem, man.
Pleasure to be here. I love the Instagram, the Twitter, all the content. It's Big Knick energy. It's exactly what I love about being a fan, is that shameless screaming from the rooftops every day that you're a goddamn Knick fan. So
we're the most proud people of an 18-18 team I've ever seen. That's for goddamn sure.
I love it.
To talk about what you're doing now, though, how long have you been with Knicks Film School?
I started with KFS, I think, right around when I started my senior year of high school. I remember DMing Macri like a paragraph and being like, I'm in high school. I'd love to contribute in literally any way to your blog because I love it and I want to work in sports media. I total cold DM, I had never really spoken to him ever. And he's like, yeah, call me. And I'm like, all right.
That's great.
So we get on a phone call. He's like, listen, I listened to your podcast on YouTube. I turned it off after like a minute. I was like, oh shit, it was terrible. He heard what he needed to hear and he turned it off because it was awful. He's going to lay me down nice. He's going to be like, oh, maybe next year you could get an op. He's like, I need you on the show like next month. Let's start it. Let's get going. I'm like, all right, let's do it.
It's great that you had like such a low like bar for yourself that you're like, he's going to tear me up. He's going to torture me on this. And he's like, yo, dude, I need you.
I had never written an article in my life at that point about sports. I was just doing my own pods on YouTube. Sports Talk with Kris P was the original channel. I remember.
How long did you have that up for before you started doing the KFS and SI stuff?
I did like 15 videos on that channel, and then I called it Raps with that because I used that channel to help people like KFS kind of see what I could do or what I thought I could try to do in the sports world. And that helped me get some different opportunities. So yeah, now KFS, I love working with KFS every week, whether I'm watching some podcast or a funny clip that Andrew puts out. I'm just like, I love working with KFS. There's something every week that just reminds me how much I love it. Just energy, creativeness, everything. I love it. And that's why I started. Now I think my halftime shows are actually going to be like a KFS thing. Just bringing that, another thing for the fans, just always bringing fun things for the fans, different experiences. And I love still considering myself a fan as well. Like, I love that aspect of this all. Like, I love being able to do my shows and be like, I'm a fan that's talking to other fans. Like that's what this is. It's not me trying to act like some host or something that I'm not. I think the fact that I'm 18 makes that easy because people kind of come on my stream and they're like, who's this kid? Like, talking about the Knicks. This is some chill stream. So I think it's super easy to create that vibe, but that's just exactly what I want. Like, just fans talking with other fans about the team. We've got an active fan base. We've got a loud fan base. We've got a passionate fan base.
Yes, we do. So
that's why, like, literally tonight, you guys know I'm hosting a pre-game clubhouse room because Twitter character limits are not for Knick fans. We got more to say than that.
I need to type more than 160 exclamation points in my posts alone.
That's what I'm saying, man. So I'm trying to get Clubhouse going too, because I think that extra level of nuance is perfect for this fan base. We're such a smart fan base. We're such an educated, passionate fan base. So everything I do that's related to the Knicks, you will probably be able to connect it in some way to my love of the community aspect of being a Knick fan, whether it's my halftime hangouts.
There we go.
Reading everyone's comments, seeing what, just because I'm the host of the show doesn't mean that I have the best takes. I like to think I have decent, logical takes. I'm not right about it. No one's right about everything.
You know what it is, Kris?
I love reading through the comments and reading everyone's takes.
Your energy is so pure at such like a young age. Like you said, no hot takes. It's just it seems like you got so much knowledge at such a young age, and it's just pure basketball knowledge, and you just giving it out to everybody else, and everybody feels that. You know what I'm saying? That's why you were on live television today. You know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah, man. Exactly.
They got me doing my Tom Tibbs mask adjustment. That thing every time, I swear to God, every time I cheered something, whether it was Let's Go Theo, that's my all-star, Frankie, whatever you suck, Hallie, whatever I'm screaming, that my mask tried falling off. You saw that photo. I was like twisting I was doing everything to get that thing to stay on. It was tough.
It's been a whole year for us. We still can't figure out the masks thing,
I said it. I said if pulling up a mask after every time I yell support for Julius Randle is like what it takes to be as safe as possible and have fans at Knick games, sign me up, because I'll do whatever. It's about the energy.
We're all from the New York metropolitan area, man. We're all loud people. It's got to be here no matter what. I was gonna actually ask.
People know how it is in Jersey.
I have family from there. I was gonna ask because Macri does most of the post game stuff. Obviously, I know you do with the mailbags with them and shit. Are we 3 short Fordham years away from it being Kris's film school instead?
Man, I would think not. I would think that I'm gonna continue. I don't have like a plan at all for anything. I don't but I've kind of realized over time that like when I was in high school, I was like, what can I do before I get to college to set myself up so that when I get to college and I'm working with WFUV Sports, they think I'm the hardest working, most, like go getting a student and kid possible. And I did. What I ended up doing in the year led me to Sports Illustrated and led me to all these other things. Now it's like, all right, I'm here. I'm doing live shows for WFUV Sports. I'm trying to get paid to go to Knicks games. I want to be their Knicks beat reporter. What can I do to best position myself for that opportunity, to earn that opportunity? I'm just always thinking, I don't have long-term, like I'm not sitting here like, oh, I want to be Stephen A. Smith, or I want to be Max Kellerman, or I want to be any of these guys. Like, I just love chasing that next, not like short, not super long term and not super short term, just like my next goal. Like, I want to be in this position. I'm gonna do everything I can, all the work that I can put in possible to get myself in that position. So I don't know about KFS. I know Macri's made jokes because Vork is always joking about how I'm going to take over KFS. But there, yeah, so jokes have been made about that. But man, as long as I have a say, I'm just going to be contributing Knicks content to fans who want content from another passionate fan. Like, that's how I see it. It's that simple.
And for what it's worth, as fans, I feel like we all appreciate hearing ourselves talk way more than like the national media. And like most of the national media for a lot of New York sports, it's either we're at the top, it's like, I'm a Mets fan, but the Yankees are the Yankees. Obviously, the Giants have won championships the past 10, 15 years. But like the Mets, Jets, Knicks gets constantly crap on. And now have to do with the Nets and stuff. You mentioned Max Kellerman before. I'm assuming you watched Knicks fan
Absolutely.
TV CP on Max Kellerman.
Of course,
what's your take
I saw
on
my
that?
guy CP. Man, I was on the KFTV post game, the live from MSG after the Kings game. I saw CP doing it. I had to tune in and support my guy. Absolute own, absolute own. He asked him, like, he's like, who cares? He's like, you like, you care. That's why I'm on your show.
Yeah.
That
was the funniest thing.
It was easy. It was too easy. What it showed was that I think maybe the media doesn't even have their reason. Like, it's literally just LOL Knicks, and it's that simple. Like, that's the angle. And then we get upset that there's no nuance. There doesn't have to be nuance, because the whole angle is that no matter what we ever do, we're going to be a laughingstock. Right. So, there are people out there who hear CP make that great point and are like, listen to this idiot. He thinks the Knicks are going to win one day. Like, that's so funny. Like people still love that. So it's gonna take us proving the world wrong on the basketball court to finally get all the naysayers to shut up. But CP doing a fantastic job on the Max Kellerman show, standing up for Knicks fans, because it's really, that's what it is. It's standing up.
His passion that he brings to the radio, I love.
They sit there on their show and they just like throw eggs at our house, like, and then we if we even just like ask them why they're doing it, they're like, haha, loser, sensitive Knicks fans, like all right, okay, yeah. Like what we just can't say anything. So to be able to talk to someone who puts forth so much of this LOL Knicks content and just be like, yo, like, you are a clown, bro. Like that energy is exactly what Knicks fans are here for.
I'm pretty sure I believe his like YouTube. I'm pretty sure like his YouTube blew up with views from CP. It like hasn't blown up that way in so long.
Yeah, people are gonna go on it.
Angelo, like you said, Knicks for clicks. Then Knicks for clicks.
Knicks for clicks.
It's ridiculous. Kris, since you're from Jersey, born and raised kind of thing?
Yeah, Bergen County, northern Jersey.
How did you pick the Knicks over the Nets, just out of curiosity growing up?
Man, you are not gonna, it's the dumbest story. It's the dumbest story.
I'm all about it. Let's go.
So I had an Xbox 360. I was asking for one for Christmas. And
what year was this?
This was 2012. And I was like, what games do I want? Whatever. Or no, 2012, because then it was 2K13. So I'm like, what games do I want for my Xbox? I'm like, I want a basketball game, because I played basketball from when I was 4 years old. I've been playing. So
How tall are you, by the way?
6 feet on the dot. Nothing crazy. But when I remember everyone, when they saw me on TV, was like, Kris is taller than I was expecting. I was like, is that a backhanded comp? I don't know how to interpret. Thanks, I think. But I remember I was like, I got to get NBA 2K13. It's got Kevin Durant on the cover, and I loved the Thunder. I didn't necessarily have like a team, but if you asked me like, who's your favorite team, I probably would have said my favorite team to watch is Oklahoma City.
Right.
Because they had Russ and KD, and for me, KD was that dude. Like, people talk about, oh, I grew up watching like Michael Jordan. Like, I'd turn on the TV, I'd see like LeBron, KD, Carmelo.
Yeah.
Where like the guys killing it. Even like young Kyrie was one of my favorite players in the league, because I just loved what he could do with the ball.
I'm a little shorter than you. I loved me some CP3, man.
I love CP3. Now I appreciate. Back then, I did not appreciate CP3.
Yeah.
Lob City days started, and I started appreciating CP3 because of the hype. Now that I feel like I get basketball on like just like a real super fan level, instead
he's
of
an
just
on-court
like
genius. He's a genius on the court.
I appreciate. I just put on CP3 highlights and just watch him have the defenders on puppet strings. It's
oh yeah.
I forgot about him when he went to Houston for 2 years. Nobody, we really realize his game really speaks for itself now that he's not. He's just contributing in the right way with the Suns now. You see everywhere he goes, it's just culture. He just wins everywhere.
Exactly.
Even on defense, he's quarterbacking the team. It's crazy. But
Didn't
with
mean to get you
Carmelo, yeah. With Carmelo, I'm thinking I was always a Carmelo guy, but my real like favorite player was KD. I had the KD 5s. I had
nice sneakers.
I had the away colorway, the black with the orange and blue, and then I had the crazy all-star ones with the neon green and the orange. And
yep.
I love the KDs. Kevin Durant was my guy. And then I go to my orthodontist, who is a 6'6" Greek guy, and is one of my mom's best friends. And he's just asking me like, oh, what do you do? Like, what have you been up to? Because we're about to start looking at braces for me, which is why I was going. He's like, you like basketball? I'm like, yeah, I love the Thunder. I love Kevin Durant. He's like, what the hell is wrong with you? I'm like, what? He's like, where do you live, dude? I'm like, I live in New Jersey. He's like, so how the hell are you going to go to an OKC game? I was like, well, they play the Nets and the Knicks, and they're into. He's like, what? 4 times a year? Are you an idiot? Like, and I was like, what? I really like Kevin Durant. He's like, pick a local team, and be done with it, because I can tell you don't really love any team yet. Before it's too late, you can pick. I don't care if you pick the Nets or the Knicks. Pick a local team and support them, because then you're not gonna regret it, because you're gonna be able to go to all the games and you're gonna be able to support them like fully. And I loved Carmelo, so on the spot, I'm like, Knicks, easy. I love Carmelo Anthony.
Yeah, we gotta pay your orthodontist some homage, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
And at that point in my life, I had been to Nets games and not Knicks games. I had seen Chris Humphries, Brooke Lopez, like that team.
Oh my god!
When they were playing in Jersey, God. I saw them live a couple times.
The most exciting part of that team was Kim Kardashian. It wasn't even the team.
They had was that washed Darren Williams by then? I don't even
Farmer
and
Jordan Farmer.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my god. And I had been to Nets games, and still on the spot, I'm like, it's Knicks, because I love Carmelo Anthony. That's a dude I always value, and this is gonna get me into like the one thing I said I had to say on this pod today. The one thing I value really, really highly is like a guy that you can wake up every morning and be like, he is putting in all the work necessary and doing everything he can every game to help my team win that basketball game. And he's doing it well. Like he's not, it's not like Lance Thomas we're talking about. Respect to Lance Thomas. That's not a diss. I love Lance Thomas. But I'm talking about someone who's gonna like show up on the box score in multiple ways, who's gonna affect the game, in a great way. And Carmelo, for me, like, I'm just like, that's a dude that I know balls out every night. Like, I can just watch the Knicks every night and love watching Carmelo Anthony play. That's the dude I can wake up every morning and say, I love watching, I love rooting for him. It's an easy choice. I got to go Knicks.
Absolutely.
And I say all that because now, after reading Julius Randle's article this morning, I'm so grateful. And I'm, as we reminisce now, as on my, even though it was like a couple years ago, my early days as a fan, we kind of lucked into one of those guys this year, who we hated last year. So to have that, I really appreciate it, and it reminds me how much I appreciated Carmelo. And
talk about someone that really put it
how
into
much
the work,
I appreciate
Julius
now. Yeah,
I was gonna say
we got to go to war for Julius Randle after this article.
Hell yeah. I was gonna say just one potential regret. Is there any, because Kevin Durant is now a Net?
It's funny how that worked out. It's really, really funny how my three favorite players, hands down, three favorite players when I started watching basketball: Carmelo Anthony, as I told you guys, Kevin Durant, and young Kyrie Irving. Hands down. Like, LeBron was up there. I remember seeing the dunk on Jason Terry in my parents' bedroom on their TV and running in circles, running with my hands on my head. I ran in circles screaming, "Oh my God, oh my God, oh my." Like, I loved watching LeBron play. My top three was no doubt KD, Carmelo, Kyrie, probably in that order. Like, when I first started watching basketball, Carmelo, no one touches Carmelo now, sentimental value, but favorite to watch when I started out, probably KD over Melo, not gonna lie. And the fact that KD and Kyrie were so close to being like, can you guys imagine? That would be like if I grew up in the 80s and then Bird and Johnson were like, fuck it, we're signing in New York. Like, I that was nuts for me. I was like, bro, these are the two of the three guys that got me into this sport.
They're like, hey, Mikhail, we still like you. Come on, too. We need you as well.
And they're about to be on my team. I couldn't.
Wild.
I needed it. And I was so disappointed. But there's nothing like, I know you said you're a Jets fan. As a Giants fan, Knicks, Giants, Mets.
You get some championships there then.
I know about the big brother, little brother team dynamic, and the fact that Nets fans like log on to Twitter and like seriously cite TV ratings as a reason, like, as to why their team is superior. Like, they need hobbies, they need things to do with their free time that are not that. I really like, I couldn't imagine not being a Knicks fan.
So, do you know the guy from
There's
Nets?
no regrets.
He's like 105 years old. The guy from Nets, he's 100 years old.
Rob.
He has nothing else better to do.
Robert. Good old
I didn't even
Robert.
know he was that old until I seen that James Harden press conference, and everybody just finally said, this is the guy on Jets Daily.
Yeah, James's response was funny. That was a funny little moment.
Oh my God!
Listen, Knicks Hourly is a good account. They have good Knicks updates every hour, it seems. So Knicks Hourly is what I like to call them. But
hell yeah, Kris, I was gonna actually, now to get back into more like more current topics. First question I have for you, current Knicks Space, is a little of a funnier one. More frustrating for you to see. Nerlens Noel tried to catch a lob pass.
Yes.
Obi Toppin trying to run on a fast break and no one looks at him. Obi Toppin trying to run on a fast break and no one looks at him after he missed a defensive assignment. Or Elfrid Payton, period.
Only because there's, I'm gonna say Nerlens frustrates me more than Elfrid. Like, the Nerlens ping pong paddle hands frustrate me more than Elfrid at this point.
It was so bad against San Antonio.
Elfrid, like, we know what's up with Elfrid. Like, Elfrid walks out there, he's like, there are just a lot of times where Elfrid Payton thinks it's Elfrid Payton time. And the things result, and we hate it, and we all just like, we've done so much screaming about it that I'm just like so numb to that Elfrid Payton at this point.
I'm actually starting to lean the other way. Like, he has value on the team.
Dude, you could
Not a
you
lot,
could cut
not
him.
a
You could
lot of
govern
value.
him. If you cut him, I wouldn't give a shit.
Yeah.
He plays like such a loser. Julius Randle in that article talked about how he knows the value of body language. Alfred literally looks like such a freaking loser every time something doesn't go his way.
Yo, even since he's been
I
on the
can't do
bench too, Chris, body language.
I hate it. It's just such loser behavior. I can't sign on. But Nerlens, man, because like I know that I could not run an NBA offense. So even though Alfred's bad at doing it, like he's doing it poorly, I know I could catch a pass. I know it. I know you throw me a chest pass, I make a triangle target, and I'll get all my fundamentals and both hands out, and I'll grab it and I'll dribble and put it something. I know I could do it. I know Alfred. I took a break from shitting on Alfred a lot because I'm like, you know what? He's the best, really, of not great options. Nerlens, he's so good on defense that it's like, what the hell is going on?
He tries to block on both sides of the ball.
How does this happen? He's a goalie. He's a goalie.
He's a great goalie.
He plays goalie out there. Shout out Prez for that one.
I was going to ask, because you are really into college recruits and prospects and stuff like that. You obviously talk about Moses Moody a lot. Past couple months specifically. Great prospect as a 3-and-D wing in the NBA, ideally. Still needs to work on his handle. Do you think the Knicks are still going to keep 2 picks around the fringe lottery range, or do you think they're going to trade either one or both of them?
That's a great question, because I have spent the last 2 weeks spending a lot of time staring at the very spot on my wall that I'm pointing to right now, just trying to think of players that they're going to look to trade for. This is what I do in my free time. You guys are like, oh yeah, he's streaming and stuff. He probably like goes outside and like eats food or maybe sleeps. Like, no, I sit at my desk.
Dangerous out there. There's COVID, man. Don't go
just
outside.
Staring at my wall, just thinking of trade targets for the New York Knicks, because I don't have a life. I said before this draft, I said the Knicks have 3 picks. I guarantee you guys they are going to make trades. They are not drafting 3 rookies, and they did just that. So I get exactly, where the question comes from. It makes a lot of sense. I think that Tom Thibodeau, who took this roster to the 4th seed, is probably not going to get rewarded by having 3 new rookies to teach how to do everything. I absolutely see a move happening. We already saw one happen, right? They already used 1 draft pick to turn it into some value. I absolutely see more pick related moves coming. Now, the options that I'm trying to decide between, I don't think they've decided themselves, because I think for them it's about the best value and when that makes itself apparent.
They're in such a tough spot right now, because it's like they're in the 5th seed right now at 500. They're also 3 games away from being 12th. It's like, how do you make a move currently?
So they could use the surplus picks to trade up. Like, if say you get 15, 17, and 32, and you take, like, you just want to end up with like 12 and 17 instead of 15, like something.
Yeah.
Or you draft with one of the picks, you take the other 2 picks and maybe a Knox or someone like that, and you send that for a player. Who? I don't fucking know. That's what I spent 2 weeks trying to figure out. I have no idea. I have absolutely no idea. Evan Fournier is a guy that comes to mind a lot as a favorite target of mine, but he's not someone I'm trading to for, like, no, it's not. I'm not trading, right? Like, I'm going for someone more valuable than that. Absolutely. I don't know. I just don't know how to make that work. I have to put like a lot more time into this, thinking of targets as news unfolds. We see whether the Magic, teams like that, are selling at the deadline or not. But I absolutely agree with you in the notion that the Knicks are going to be consolidating their assets.
They have to. They can't draft that many dudes again.
And they're not going to. And I'm trying to figure out myself. And I don't think they know either, but I'm trying to figure out, what's more likely. Is it going to be they bring in 2 rookies again, but 2 first-round guys? Or is it going to, I have no idea. We also have to see if they use any of the picks. Maybe they use the Detroit 2nd rounder before the deadline this year.
Right.
I don't see them buying I don't see if they make a trade before the deadline, I don't see it being like a blockbuster purchase. Like, it's not going to be.
You're not seeing Oladipo, you're not seeing Cat, you're not seeing Beal. I'm taking it.
I don't see and Depot's looked sadly.
I think Tibbs trusts his team, man. I think he likes his team.
You guys know I love Depot, but he's looked cooked. So, and he got hurt again. I don't see them being the team that goes out and shells out value for that. Beal, I think they'd probably like to, but
That'd be ideal.
I don't think that happens either. And Cat, it's too early. Minnesota made an awful trade, and the justification of it was satisfying Cat and getting him to be happy in Minnesota. And they suck still, and they're gonna suck. I'm so
glad that Jimmy Butler made the NBA Finals immediately afterwards. That dude is a much harder worker than Cat or Andrew Wiggins ever was on that team.
Cat, there's still hope for Cat yet, in my opinion. I'm not writing him off.
He's 26.
I just don't know if I don't know if I want the Knicks to be the team that pays a max contract to him to find out whether or not he can be a real winning center. Would Randall and Cat as a Kentucky big man duo literally tear up opposing defense? Because think about it, you can play Randall inside to bruise and Cat shoot 40%, shooting 40% from deep on 8 attempts a game.
Yep.
Have him. It would be beautiful.
They can always take their man off the dribble. No 4 or 5 can stay in front of them.
And we know Tibbs, because of reporting recently, is down to work with Cat again because Tibbs is addicted to winning basketball games. He just wants guys that are going to help him do that. And if Julius is going to continue to be this good, Cat does that. But I don't think before this deadline is when they cough up the farm for a guy like that.
I hear
Chris,
that.
Do you see them if they go after the 4 or 5 combo? Let's just say off the Cat. Do you see them going after that for a 2, or just stay, or trying to get elite 1, stay with RJ Barrett at the 2? Or what would you prefer? Vice versa.
I think because of RJ.
Are you okay with Rose?
Rose, if you're gonna play 2,
going forward,
you gotta pick a play style. So if you're gonna have your offensive fulcrums, as you may call them, be at the 4 and 5, then you're gonna want to have guys like Hallie type players, IQ type players at other positions that bring these complementary skill sets.
Spot up 3 is big if you're gonna have a 4 and a 5 dominate the ball.
Yeah, like to name other Kentucky guys, like someone, he's had a rough year this year, and I hate him personally, but it's a name that came to mind, like a guy like Tyler Hero, like someone who can come off screens, who can knock down shots. You're looking for different kind of guys. Like I wasn't a big Hallie guy. I didn't want the Knicks to draft him at all. I thought the fit was gonna suck. If I knew that Julius Randle was gonna be an all-star as the offensive fulcrum of the New York Knicks, I would have been gung-ho about Hallie because that's a great complementary piece. I'm just not going to pretend that I was gung-ho about Hallie. I didn't want him at all because I did not see Julius Randle turning into Lamar Odom and Zach Randolph's body as Kobe.
Yeah, none of us were gung-ho about Julius Randle last year at all. So
yeah, but I think, Angela, with what you said there, you look for guys that have the skill sets that can complement your main guy. So if your offense is going to be running the ball through these talented guys as much as you can, surround them with things that best complement them, just to help them. Look at Simmons and Embiid. Look at Booker and Paul. They have Booker and Paul, then they have a shit ton of 3 and D guys. To do what?
Yeah.
to stand out on the wing and 3 and D. And
they always have a 7-footer out there to get a rebound because they're not gonna.
Because you have 2 guards. So if you're gonna have 2 big men, then you need the guard. So it's just the other way. I'd be fine with RJ because he's if that shot is real, he's the kind of wing prospect that every team lusts over. He's a wing that has great technical defense, great off-ball defense, can create offense. There's a whole lot of things he can do. So,
Chris, to go off of a different thing, because we mentioned quickly, temporarily, real quick earlier. How do you feel about him not being chosen to the Rising Stars game? Do you even care since they're not playing the game?
It's a marketing thing. When you look at who got chosen over him, it's guys who are going to sell more Top Shot cards. It's bullshit.
Come on, bro. Kendall Johnson made the game and he questioned it. He was like, "Are you sure?" He was asking his coach.
Kendall Johnson actually is not one of the names I'm mad about being on that list.
I didn't look.
Keldon on the Spurs. He's good though. 15 15-7. I think it's not the worst. I think I give IQ the spot, but I don't know. IQ's been like a top 3 rookie at worst, and he's not a rising star. I'm obviously upset about it. I just get it. I get why it happened, so I can't bring myself to be enraged about it. But it's like, okay, if you're gonna have the process in which players are chosen be a sham, then treat the event like a sham. Don't have it be like an event that like matters on resumes and stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's
if you're
the thing.
Gonna
It's
choose
like
people willy nilly. I don't know.
You'll never see rising stars listed on anyone's Wikipedia page or anything. And I actually did the numbers before. So for overall participation in the All-Star weekend between the skills challenge, dunk contest, 3-point, the rising stars, which isn't even happening, and the All-Star game, the Knicks are actually tied for first in like overall accountability. Like the Knicks, the Warriors, the Suns, and the Celtics all have 4 people represented. Some of them count twice.
Rewarded.
Right. So they're actually being recognized. Just it so happens that Quickly wasn't one of the 4 people. And then
I still love that though. I love that number. That's a great stat because another stat that would be kind of parallel to that, like look at our first half versus second half national TV games. We're getting rewarded for winning. It's like 1 versus like 12.
Yeah. Which sucks because now our second half schedule is significantly harder.
Because now we have the sixth hardest schedule in the second half, and it's not going to be as pretty. But no, we're getting paid back for doing competent basketball things. Like it's just exactly how we wanted this year to go and more. I can't be happier.
This is way more than what I had thought or asked for, honestly.
Absolutely.
I was honestly hoping to tank for Cade Cunningham, and I'm way more happy to be in the playoff chase.
Yeah, Cade is like that, so I understand that because wow. But if we were Oklahoma City, I'd be like, yeah, tank for Cade. And that with the power of this market, and people are underrating the power of our ties to the media. Like, you go on the jump, like they're positively covering us because that whole cast is CAA. We have pull. So on a stage like ours, I'm so fine with.
You said it yourself. You did an internship on Wall Street. Most of those agencies are actually right there. It's not like it's just 1 or 2.
It's it's New York City, man. It's different.
Exactly. I was gonna ask you one more question, and then we're gonna do a little game. The last question I wanted to ask you was in regards to Brandon Tierney's tweet. Obviously, you saw the whole Chris Bosh versus Julius Randle thing.
Yes.
I am a diehard Knicks fan. I love Julius Randle currently, but there is no chance in my life I can currently at least say an 11-time All-Star, 2-time NBA champion, all NBA defensive team was worse than peak Julius Randle for the past 36 games.
That is a lot. It's a big claim to make, and to me, it's just about what Bosh did over the course of his career.
Just to throw it out there real quick, the team that he brought to the Raptors before the Heat, when he was on the Raptors, the team he brought to the number 1 for their division 4 seed in the East and lost in the first round. His next 2 best players were Andrea Bargnani and Jose Calderon. Julius Randle is not bringing those 2 dudes to the playoffs anytime soon.
Yeah. You gotta respect CB. It's to me, it's not a knock on Randle to answer that question the way we are, because in my opinion, with the growth that, look at a guy like Josh Allen, right? Josh Allen had improvement from 1 year to the next that was unprecedented. And then Bills fans were like, hey, maybe he'll do that again. And everyone's like, no, he's not going to do it again. Like, he's bad, so he's going to be bad, just not as bad as we thought. And then he improved ridiculously again.
MVP
like
candidate.
Some guys have different development curves. And I do not think it's crazy to say that superstardom is a possibility for Julius Randle. That would indeed have been crazy to say last year. It's not crazy now because at the way he changed his game from 1 year to the next, who's to say he can't keep putting work in, doing pick and roll, improving in the pick and roll and improving aspects of his game, his efficiency, continue to improve his shooting as he gets older. And Julius Randle can absolutely finish his career in a spot where you're like, yeah, I might take peak Julius Randle over Chris Bosh. However, before peak Julius Randle, when he was really getting things going in New York, I would not have taken that version. Like that's where we are. Yeah.
And exactly, he has the potential to get there one day now with what he's showing currently. I was gonna say one thing. Shout out to Reddit. Once again, Angelo is laying in his bed because this man just got back surgery. Chris, in case you were wondering why I'm like up and at him like a normal person doing a podcast, and Angelo is like, "Hey, do you like my triple chin?" So shout out to Reddit. Also, are you ready for a game?
Man, it's Detroit.
I'm ready. Well, no, not the game tonight. I meant
this game.
Yeah, we're about to play a game.
Oh my, we're about to play a game on the pod right now.
We're about to play a podcast.
Okay, I was gonna say the Detroit game. I'm absolutely ready for. This I don't know if I'm ready for. This we're gonna find out. To Angelo, man, again, I hope your back gets better. That's
I'll be good.
That's timing. All right.
So the game is called Truth or Selfie. It's kind of similar to Truth or Dare, but instead it's Truth or Selfie. The way the game works is I ask you 4 questions that they're not bad. They're not hard to answer. You just might not want to currently answer them. So if you don't answer, your job is to send us an embarrassing selfie to Big Nick Energy, and we're going to post them on our Instagram over the weekend. You get one. If you don't answer one, you have to send one up to 4, so on and so forth. Are you ready to go?
Man, I'm now ready. Now that I know the rules, this is going to be something. Let's do it.
So the first question, courtesy of KFS, it's not from them, but it's about them. Who is better at their job, Malone or Macri?
Oh my God.
Hey, you can take the selfie, bro.
Yeah.
I can't even think of a. They're like, talk about Chris Paul. Like those dudes are like the Chris Pauls of what they do. Like they'll go anywhere and turn it into a 5-star outlet. Like, oh my God, I can't even. Oh,
I got it selfie right now.
The pain on your face. Oh my God.
That's selfie number 1. I can't answer that. I can't answer. You're getting an embarrassing selfie.
Let's go. Angelo, get your Instagram ready, boy.
I can't answer that question. That's a great first question. Oh my God.
By the way, the face you just made is going on the internet. You putting your hair back. Oh my God. Question number 2, hopefully a little bit easier, honestly. The shittiest interview you've ever witnessed or been a part of, whether it's you doing a podcast with anyone, Clubhouse, or someone you witnessed someone else doing. Shittiest interview.
Oh, okay. This is great. We're outside
blast on different podcasts right now.
We're outside of MSG, and I'm doing the post-game show at CP live for KFTV. And this woman walks up to him while he's live streaming, thinking that he's Kazim. And she's like, "Oh my God, I see you. I work here at Madison." She walks up. She's like, "Hi."
She's white, right? This is a white woman?
No.
Oh, God.
She is black. And she walks up to him and she's like, "I see you inside on the TVs every single," because Kazim's on MSG. Yeah. So they play MSG networks inside MSG, and she sees Kazim every morning. And she's like, "I see you every morning. Like, I can't believe I'm meeting you." She called someone and she's like, "Look who I met."
Oh, and my God.
And they're like, "Wow." And this is all live. You can go right now and watch. He's like, what he starts like she's like, "What's your name?" And he's like, "You're interviewing me. I'm interviewing you. This is Knick Fan TV." this was the most awkward, most terrible interaction. It was being live streamed on Knick Fan TV. And that has to be the worst anything sort of interview I've ever just had to watch go down in my life. It was like 2 interviews going on at once, but one person thought the other person was somebody else. And
one of them is professional and the other one is not.
1 for
that
2.
Was something.
1 for 2.
Oh my God. Next one should be relatively easy. We covered a bunch of different potentials anyway. Give us your hottest Knicks take. We know you got some connections. Not going to say the names. Ian Begley, other shit like that, though. Hottest Knicks take currently, though.
Hottest Knicks take.
Something that can happen in the next 6 months.
Hottest. Let me think. I don't want to.
Don't think too hard, Chris.
I'm gonna set 6 months. Is that so? That's the off season. What was I gonna? I tweeted something, and I was gonna say that tweet hints at what I would say here, which is that not after this. So after this season, we're gonna see this front office, look to add to this team. Obviously, in the off season, not the 2022 season, but the 2022 to 2023. That year, I think that's the season that we go into that year feeling like, holy crap, we're on top of the world. Like, sky's the limit. Like, this team is a team that I feel incredible about. I think you got to give them this offseason and during next year to make in-season trades, and then that next offseason. But if by then they have not caught a fish, I will be shocked. Because I've been telling people since I was back in high school, I said, before I graduate college, we're making the playoffs and we're going to have an all-star talent. I didn't think that all-star talent would come in year one
baby.
in Julius Randle. But I'm going to double down on that and say there's going to be another. There's going to be there's going to be another.
Chris, you got to give me a name,
talent.
brother. Give me a name. Give me a
I
name.
don't think Leon knows a name. If what I'll say is this, is that I think Cat is like not unrealistic. I think guys like Spida have interest in New York. If I had to guess,
Donovan Mitchell, man, don't tease me.
If I had to guess who like target zero was, like the guy who Leon Rose like has a black and white photo of in his wallet, like and it's like, I'm gonna get this motherfucker on the New York Knicks. I really think it's my guy Devin Booker. I really think that.
This is my wife, and this is Devin Booker. He's the son. He's my son, and he's the son.
I really think that's like their guy. Like that's who they think is like their best bet at being a sustained, like in the conversation at the top of the league every year.
Chris,
we know Cat's great.
I think that's a hot take.
But Devin Booker, I think, is their number one target, and that we're gonna be happiest. I don't think he's on this team anytime soon, but I really hope he's on it at some point. I just think my hot take would be target number one on the board, like their free agent, their long-term target list, like one D Booker, like that.
Chris, where does that line up in terms of when does CP's contract end and when does Devin Booker's contract end? Do they end?
I've been talking about this since before this season started. My crazy dream is not anymore. I would have, and both of these guys not anymore. Debo because he's not as good as I thought, and Levine because he's way better than I thought. I wanted to go after a guy like that to then in 2022 or 2023 take with Obi and first rounders and send for your Spida or your Booker or whoever you're going after.
You heard it here first, folks. We got Devin Booker, Donovan Mitchell, Julius Randle, Karl Anthony Towns, and Zach LaVine on the Knicks 2023-2024.
Oh my God. I'm gonna get booed off the internet. But really,
don't worry, everyone quickly is still there.
My 6 man. My thinking was get a guy who you can use to get a guy. And
absolutely.
The fact that they took Obi, things like that indicate to me that we keep hearing, oh, Knox is going to be part of a package. Oh, Knox. I think it's because they're looking to put together a freaking package. They know at some point a package is going to need to be put together for a star. That's
also
how
for what it's
do
worth. They keep saying Knox is going to be part of a package. The main part of that package is not going to be Kevin Knox. It's like the best person that I think I would be willing to give up is Mitchell Robinson. I mean, RJ Barrett or Emmanuel Quickly is more realistic to actually get a high-profile person like that.
Yeah, if you're talking someone like Beal, they would want RJ or IQ would be the ask at the start. So that's why I don't think a deal like that's realistic this year.
Yeah, the Nets got James Harden by getting rid of half their team. We got Melo back in the day by getting rid of half our team. That's what you have to do. It's not like you get rid of Kevin Knox and 2 firsts, and it's like, I got Bradley Beal.
And
This
that's
isn't
why I
2K.
can't co-sign making the Beal trade this season. Because I think you make that kind of trade, you go give all that up for Booker, you go do something like that because you're ready to, not because hopefully I can get myself in a contending spot after doing this.
Yeah.
It's like you have LeBron James and you have the front office and you have a coach and you're like, we need a guy. Okay, we're going to send fucking everybody for Anthony Davis, and that's going to be how you don't send everyone for Anthony Davis hoping that LeBron will sign.
Right.
And I think that's kind of what trading for Beal right now would be, because I don't think there are enough things on this team yet that are like real pieces.
Unless Washington literally wanted 5 first rounds.
We're in the fourth or fifth seed now. We're in the playoffs, but it doesn't mean we're anywhere near as good as the top 3 teams in the East. Just because we're 1 seed under the 3rd best team doesn't mean that we're anywhere close to as good as them.
Right.
So do I think we could beat a team like Boston in a 7-game series? I think
Absolutely.
we have a shot.
You were just talking about this.
I literally said that prior
Absolutely.
to the podcast. But do I think we can beat Milwaukee, Brooklyn, or
MVP
Philly?
Bede or Giannis
Not
or
happening.
the 3 MVPs on one team?
Not yet anyway. Not happening
No,
yet.
not yet. So that's why I say go get a guy who's not a real guy. Just get a guy. And then
You know what sucks about
in
these
1 or 2
teams,
years, take him, take Obi, take first rounders, go get a guy
Yes.
when you're ready.
You know what
Exactly.
sucks? You know what sucks about the position we're in? It's just my personal feelings. Is that Knick fans? We finally got excited and we're so engulfed into this team that I would almost like feel bad for RJ, and I almost feel bad for myself that I got to see these guys get shipped out. Like, how do you think RJ would feel if he gets shipped out for another player right now? I get in my personal feelings with these trades just because I'm finally, we're finally here.
I know
we're
what
finally
you
exciting.
mean.
You know what I'm saying?
You get connected to the current players no matter who you get.
Even Julius in
Yeah.
his article said, like, he's talking to Obi and he's talking to these young guys. Like, imagine what it could be like here in New York if we really get this thing popping. Ultimately, go right now and look at the roster of the championship team last season and the one before that one and the one every single year before that. Go back 30 years, whatever, and tell me how many like young players that team drafted and developed are on that championship team, and you're going to discover that it's like
4 or
4
less
guys.
Yeah,
2 to 4
every
guys.
time.
So
Kris,
RJ quickly, and then hopefully a guy from this first round, and hopefully Mitch, and I think that's it. Like, I feel like they drafted Obi to go at some point, and I love Obi, and I stand up for Obi, and I tell people to be patient with Obi. I'm also not freaking out about Obi because I don't think he matters too much in the grand scheme. Like, I'm not freaking out about our 8th overall pick of a power forward when we have the 25th pick playing like a rookie of the year candidate and we're in the freaking 4th seed. I'm not going to freak out about it. I can't.
If you're constructing a team and you have 2 picks in the first round, an early pick and a late pick, and one of them's really good and one of them's developmental, it doesn't matter which one is which.
Like people are who was that guy who tweeted? I could not believe that I read. It's like, I'm still haunted every morning by like Tyrese Halliburton and like all these people we passed on. Like, dude,
Yeah, who cares?
Get over it. If we draft
Are
Halliburton,
you
you don't have
kidding
quickly
me?
anyway. If you draft
you're
Halliburton,
haunted
We
daily,
never got quickly.
daily, really? Like, no way,
my
no
God.
way. I can't. Like, you gotta. It's like, I know it's a sports team that we care a lot about, but it's also like it's a sports team. Like, we're supporting them, we're rooting for them. That's not to say you can't criticize them, but I don't think you can make criticism like your reason for existence. Like, I'm like, all right, we're doing well. Like, I'm gonna suck it up that our 8th overall pick is not as good as I was hoping.
you have to tell a lot of New Yorkers that they don't exist just to criticize other people. That is a message that we need to get out there. Kris, last truth or selfie question.
I gotta say, there's one more.
There is one more, not related to the Knicks. Are you ready? Your LinkedIn says that you're a scorekeeper and assistant coach a few years back, which, if my math is correct, you were like, what, 15 or 16 doing this?
Mhm.
Who the hell are you coaching at 15 years old?
Kindergartners, no joke.
It was basketball, right?
No joke. basketball coach, assistant coach for you ready? Kindergarten boys, first grade girls, third grade boys, fourth grade boys. And then I did it for 2 years. So as they grew up, you know, it became like the next. I stayed with the same kids,
Right.
so it went like the next grade level up. Bro, I had my first grade boys. No, yeah, that kindergarten boys team that ended up being the first. Those kids were, you could not. You bring your best lineup of first graders. They were not touching my squad.
You had a big three.
I had those kids running 5 out. I had them setting picks and shit. Their basketball's like bigger than their head. They're like struggling to even dribble it. I'm like, lane, get the lane.
Please tell me you had the one kid that's clearly a foot taller than everyone else set every pick.
They didn't exist.
Oh no.
It was CMEC, which is this program that I played for growing up. And it's a tiny, tiny program. The talent pool is both small and non-existent at the same time. And it was a great experience, but no. It was a lot of blowouts too with the older grades. It got a little ugly. But yeah, that was a great experience. I went back and coached and score kept for the team that I played for growing up from when I was 4, like I said, all the way to 5th grade. I played for them. And then 6th through 8th, I played for my middle school team. I was like the Duncan Robinson. No joke. 8th grade, I did not register a single shot attempt that was not a 3-point attempt.
That is awesome. Talk about
no free throws, no
basketball.
layups, no mid-range.
No one fouled you on the 3?
Every single shot. Every shot was a wing 3-pointer. That's all I did.
That's funny.
Like 12 points a game off that. It was hilarious. I loved it.
Jesus. Oh my God. Last things. Anything you want to plug and then prediction for tonight's game?
Knicks by 24.
Holy shit. No Dennis Smith Jr. revenge game at the Garden?
No, they're pissed.
Dennis Smith Jr. revenge game. Are you
Knicks
serious?
Gotta be Knicks. Listen, with the triple double, yeah, it was 3 for 9 shooting, but it's a triple double. I'm not gonna hate, and I'm not a DSJ hate guy. What I do hate are the Pistons fans who are like, idiotic New York Knicks handed us a young star. Like I cannot wait to see how that goes. Cannot wait to see how that goes for you.
13 in 4 years is a lottery pick. It's never a good sign.
In terms of the game though, Nick's got to come out pissed. I need quickly to come out pissed that he's not a rising star. I need these guys to come out. Now I know that this week, you know, people say like this is like, if you're betting on NBA games this week, this is like the last week of school before spring break. Like half the kids aren't doing half the kids are skipping class and the other half are there, but not doing any work.
Yep.
I can't sign on to a Tom Tibbs team being that kind of team though. The shitty Pistons. Yeah. Tom Tibbs. Hell no. Julius Randle's playing 46 tonight if he needs to. Like, you know what I mean? So I'm going to say,
I fucking hope he doesn't need to.
I pray to God Julius Randle does not need to play.
I hope he plays 26, gets a double-double, and they're up by 25 when he's
done. They get him the fuck out. I got to go with the Knicks tonight. Anything to plug, man? Check out my Twitter at Kris Pursiainen, my halftime lives. I go live every game at halftime so that Knick fans have somewhere to show up, chat, yell about the team, give their takes, and just hang out in general. So yeah, that's that. And then the To a Tolerable Degree and the Bleed Orange and Blue pods are where I do my own podding. So you can find me there. But thank you guys. This was an absolute blast. I'll go start looking now for my submission.
I'm waiting.
Perfect.
I gotta get it out
whether
there.
Or not because this is going to be posted tomorrow. We're going to find out if all your Detroit Pistons takes were right or wrong before this even comes
out. They're going to lose. Dennis Smith Jr. is going to have like 45, 15, and 20. We're going to be sitting here tomorrow like dumbfounded. No, Knicks. Serious prediction, Knicks by 18. 18 points. Book it.
I like it.
But bet the exact. Don't do this. I'm not even 21. I can't even. Definitely do not go bet the exact margin of victory to be 18.
Kris, thank you so much, man. We greatly appreciate it. Angelo is definitely going to harass you for the next 24 hours until you send him a selfie.
Thank you guys. I'm gonna go get right on it. I'm gonna go. It has to be like with like just like
It could be a Knick
embarrassing
You
camera.
can
photo.
do a funny face,
or-
man. Yeah, just whatever you
I'll,
want.
I'll
You
go.
can take
I'll,
one from the camera already. if
I'll
you
go
want.
look. Yeah, let me go look for like a embarrassing old photo.
If you got one, since you were a scorekeeper, if you got one as like a referee or a scorekeeper outfit, that'd be the best.
I'll look for something from around that era, so you can see the very non-intimidating, scrawny 15-year-old that I had coaches like yelling at me, like they swore I was like rigging the clock and shit. Like I had all kinds of accusations. It's like,
Oh my god,
I'm just scrawny. I'll go find something from that era, man.
Oh, I love
It was a pleasure, absolute pleasure to be on the show. Big Knick energy. I love what you guys do, and I'm gonna keep seeing y'all on Twitter, on Clubhouse, around, and let me know if you need another guest appearance, because I'm certainly down to be back. I love your guys'
Thanks,
show, your content, everything you do. Again, like I said at the start, it's like a lot of the energy that I value and love so much about being a Knick fan. So it's just like it's perfect. I love it, and I appreciate what you guys do a lot. So thank you again
Appreciate
for
it, too.
having me on the show.
Appreciate it, man. Before you run, did you
much
listen
love.
to the Jared Jeffries one?
I haven't made it through that episode. I did. I started it, and then college happened. So if you went through my
does that.
Spotify, you would see. I feel so bad for Mac. I've got like 24 probably Knicks Film School episodes that are like not even halfway through. Like I can't. I'm sorry,
I hope he
John.
doesn't watch this.
I don't know if I
I
would
hope he
admit that
doesn't
on here
watch
if I were you.
No, D's in labor. He's gonna be busy. Mac's gonna be a little busy next few days. You'll see Claudio on the post game tonight because we've got second baby Mac on the way. But
Oh my god,
Awesome.
Chris, you the
Thanks.
man. This has been another episode of Big Knicks Energy with your host Joe Yoke, Kris Pursiainen. Did I say that right?
Pursiainen, but I'm
Pursiainen.
not gonna come close to faulting you. There's a reason I do Chris P.
Chris P. I like it. Krispy Kremes, and we got Angelo making it happen. Vin's the man in the background. Peace.
Later, boys.
And it's over.
Y'all are